The only thing that's keeping me going is knowing that in a few days I'll be able to eat garlic bread in the park with the gays. I'll keep y'all updated.
Donald Trump just praised Hannibal Lecter, the serial killer from the movie Silence of the Lambs, in one of the most bizarre campaign speeches I've ever heard. Take a look at this clip of Donald Trump in New Jersey ranting and raving about Hannibal Lecter.
Silence of the Lambs. Has anyone ever seen the Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter is a wonderful man. He oftentimes would have a friend for dinner. Remember the last scene? Excuse me, I'm about to have a friend for dinner as this poor doctor walked by. I'm about to have a friend for dinner, but Hannibal Lecter, congratulations, the late, great Hannibal Lecter.
I don't know why Donald Trump is referring to Hannibal Lecter, a fictitious serial killer, as the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Maybe Donald Trump aligns with him, or maybe this is just another one of Donald's demented rants. Either way, keep this guy away from the Oval Office, please.
DID is such a wild fucking disorder. It's really just like, yeah, I went through some really harrowing childhood abuse, and I guess now I'm Hatsune Miku about it? Oh, look at this silly character from a lighthearted children's cartoon. It is only a matter of time before I split the most spine-curdlingly traumatized version of this character imaginable. Hang on, sorry. I'm trying to front and I just can't. There we go, just had to shake myself into the front. I don't know why that works. Sorry, I'm having a really rough morning. The mermaids had a panic attack trying to get out of the shower this morning. They were convinced that we couldn't breathe air. I'm tired. Sorry, can you give me a second? I'm getting a lecture from the fucking Dare mascot in the back of my brain. Every time I think I'm over my ex, I go into headspace and he's just fucking there. And it's not his fault, but god damn it. We found a new altar the other day who's like a cursed voodoo doll. We have no idea what his role is, but god, he's creepy as hell. Right, and then Sorry, our main gatekeeper should not be allowed to have an intercom system. Oh my god.
I saw a study that liberals are more unhappy than conservatives. Do you know why that is?
Conservatives have a lot of fun.
Being conservative implies that you are happy with the way things are. If you're happy with your life, it's in your interest to protect the system that seemingly enabled you to be happy. That's why older people are generally more conservative. They've already built a life for themselves, so they feel like, why can't the system that worked for me work for you? Young people have not yet built a life for themselves, and they feel that their ability to do so is going to be hurt by the system conservatives want to protect. They are not happy with the way things are. That's why they're progressive. The thing that older people miss is that the system they had to build a life for themselves doesn't exist anymore. They got the last chop out of Nam. It's a shit show down here now. But it's a bit hard to realize that from the porch of the single family home you were able to buy for 3 bales of hay and a high five. Conservatives also can tend to forget or ignore that the system doesn't work the same for everybody. That's why women and minority groups generally vote more progressive. So it's not that being conservative makes you happy or that being progressive makes you sad. It's that you're gonna pick whether or not you want to change the system based on how well it's worked for you. And if it hasn't worked, you're not going to be happy. Which to me feels like common sense, but the comment section of that post proved otherwise. That's why we're here. Anyway, follow for another Yap Fest.
You're a witch. Get the fuck up. You right. Go do some spells or some shit. Why are you crying?
You ain't never fucking lied.
I know this is going to sound super forward, but will you be my mate for life?
Oh, Brooke, I don't know what to say. It's only been 12 minutes. What took you so long? Yes! This has been the best last day on Earth ever!
Image of a text that reads, in conversation with some coworkers today, one of them said that homeless people should have to work for their meals just like the rest of us. I said, okay, I know a man who is homeless. He'd be happy to work. He's got a business degree. He would be happy to come clean your house, do your yard work, or help you with your filing, walk your dogs, babysit your kids, or just about any office job. What time tomorrow should he come see you? They all just looked at me. I said, mind you, he's homeless, so he hasn't showered in a while, and the only clothes he has are the ones on his back because he lost all his stuff last week when he got picked up for vagrancy, and they wouldn't let him go back for his bag. It would be a few weeks before what you are paying him is enough to get shelter and such, and still, they stared at me. I finished. See, it isn't that easy. He can't get a job because he's homeless with no access to hot water or clean clothes. He can't get access to shelter, hot water, or clean clothes without a job. You want him to work for his meals? Give him a handout of the vicious circle. Stop pretending that all he has to do is get a job. Unhoused people are not intruders into our community. They are our community's failure to take care of their own. Hey, I've been homeless about 3 times, depending on what you count as homeless, and there is something else very important that people need to realize.
Let's fucking go. Let's go. I guess.
The day the music died and they were singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And them good old boys.
This man collected dwarfs and made millions of dollars off of it. Stephen Hawking who? Snatching up kids like Dan Schneider, and he particularly had a fondness if they had dwarfism. Barnum would even sell their remains to museums to be displayed after their deaths. Barnum would even arrange their marriages to each other and make money off of selling tickets to their weddings. He deserved an episode of My Strange Addiction for real. It could have been called Addicted to Dwarfs. He bought and sold little people, including this 4-year-old with dwarfism named Charles Stratton. Barnum had the child performing vaudevillian sketches and musical numbers and told audiences he was an 11-year-old boy to avoid child exploitation claims. Charles most likely never saw his parents again and instead was touted around the world as being a freak of nature. As a human exhibit, he was seen by over 50 million people, including Queen Victoria and Abraham Lincoln. He was referred to and sold to the public as being an M-word, which is a slur created by P.T. Barnum to refer to little people so that it seemed like they were exotic creatures and not really human. Barnum would do anything to exploit little people. He even found this random baby to have them hold for a photo so he could market it as being a miraculous M-word baby. That is the real story of P.T. Barnum and Tom Thumb.
Let them eat cake.
I just love fashion, especially statement pieces that really, encapsulate how you feel about the state of the world.
Hello class, I'm going to need you all to quiet down, get back to your silent reading. I have an urgent conversation I need to have with the student right away, so please just keep the volume down here. Thank you. Hi Annabelle. Yes, I called you up here because I got some emails from parents this week sharing that a student in the classroom, that student being you, was displaying on the back of their laptop in the form of stickers some very hateful, terroristic threats to other students in this classroom. And I just was shocked at first. I mean, knowing your religious background and cultural background, of course, wasn't much of a shock, but still I didn't want to assume that you would do that, because we just don't assume here. I never do that, right? Never. So I wanted to check in with you first. I didn't get a chance to check in yet, but today when you opened up your laptop, I did see decorating the back of your laptop some very hateful threats towards other students. And I'm gonna need you to remove those immediately. We can't have that in the classroom. This is a public school. We don't tolerate that. So I will be contacting the principal about this as well, okay? It just means free Palestine. Annabelle, I watch the news. I read the newspaper. I lived through 9/11. I know a jihadist missile call when I see it. And that right there is definitely one. Don't think you can run around me and lie to me, because you can't. I'm an educated woman. I know what you Hamasi jihadists like to do. So you know what? I think I'm gonna need to call security down, because this is getting a little too aggressive. You're getting too close to me. I have pepper spray in my bag. I will use my pepper spray if I have to. I will. So back it up.
very much at all about the history of the Middle East, or frankly about history.
What's so funny about politicians still parroting shit like this is the fact, and I've said this several times, that they so conveniently forget the fact that 1 in 3 members of Gen Z is either an immigrant or the child of an immigrant, right? I do not know what authority or like historical knowledge Hillary Clinton, the slave owner, thinks she has over the direct descendants of colonial subjects from the global South. But I don't think it's very good. Like, totally despite the fact that bombing and orchestrating coups in the Middle East actually does not provide you any historical knowledge. You don't need to know every single thing about the Middle East in order to understand what's going on in the slightest. Because colonization is actually very, very, very not complicated. They all use the same exact playbook. And if Hillary Clinton and the likes would like us to stop creating historical connections between the settler colonies that our people are from and Israel, then maybe they should like stop doing settler colonialism. That seems to me like the easiest solution. Like, the insane restrictions and movement that we see against the Palestinians is the same as the laws that created the Kapande system in Kenya, which is the same as the past laws that they created in South Africa. Anyone in the global South who ever wanted freedom for their people from colonial powers was branded as a T-word. Every single one of them. Like, I can pull out archives upon archives upon archives. They all use the same exact playbook. And the images that came out this week of the concentration camps that have been created in Gaza, like this huge expose from CNN, the system and the format look exactly the same as the way that they did in Malaysia and in Kenya with their respective emergencies that were declared by the British Empire after their anti-colonial uprisings. And the imposition of forced starvation and dehydration that we're seeing is the same exact that the Germans did in both Tanzania and in Namibia, and as the settlers in the Americas did. Like, this, colonizers are not like creative. They don't do this to like they know what works, especially because I'd like to say like half the situations that I'm talking about were after the signing of the Geneva Convention, and it's been proven that Western powers will not be held to account when they break international law or do absolutely insanely murderous genocidal shit. Like, God forbid that those of us who do indeed have intimate knowledge of these colonial horrors because our families lived through it actually do something with that historical knowledge. God forbid we actually want cycles of colonial violence to be stopped in their tracks and never to be repeated again. And God forbid those who don't have the intimate connection to that history use the resources at their colleges and the internet to fill in the gaps that were so intentionally left by the US education system. This girl's obviously just like bitching because she's upset that they have lost the narrative. Because of the democratization of access to information that the internet has provided, and because it is so much easier to write off the concerns of young people as uninformed, as just the manifestation of a trend, than to actually critically engage with the reason that it has caused so much distress to us in the first place. Because I can guarantee that is some history that most people in positions of power in Western nations are not ready to deal with. Also, this is coming from the person who thinks that national security is more important than human rights. Why would we care what you think?
I'm pro-Palestinian because I'm Jewish. Not in spite of, not me being a self-hating Jew in any way. My Jewishness is the direct reason why it makes the most sense to stand with the Palestinian people, and if you stick around, I'll explain why. I just want to make it clear, I am making this video because I am raising money for Noor's relief fund. She's trying to escape Gaza with her family. You guys have been donating since the previous video. Thank you so much for doing that. Please consider donating and sharing this video if you cannot donate, and I appreciate you. But let's talk about the Jewish identity and how it relates to free Palestine as I see it. But Lucas, the clear choice is to say that you stand with Israel because Israel is a Jewish state, right? I would love to stand with Israel. In an ideal world, a Jewish state sounds wonderful. But since the events of October 7th, which everyone can agree is horrible. Since that date, however, Israel has been responsible for the worst that anti-Semitism is capable of. And I am talking about the genocide that Israel is responsible for and conducting even worse in recent days against Palestinians. We know that war hurts all sides in any conflict, but there is a particular side right now that is disempowered. It's the same reason that we say Black Lives Matter instead of All Lives Matter. All of the reasons that we need to stay vigilant against anti-Semitism are the same reasons why we need to do everything we can for the Palestinian families trying to escape with their lives. I'm not trying to change your mind about Israel. I'm just trying to get you to say that this family of 3 kids and their mom deserve to live. That's all. These people are my family just as much as Jewish people are my family, but these people are the ones who are most at risk, so this is the family I need to talk about most. And as a Jewish person, I think there's no way to better honor myself, my family, the trauma that Jewish people have suffered throughout history, than to pay that forward to the people who are suffering most right now in this conflict, than to say, free Palestine. Much love and thank you for watching.
I want a ceasefire, fuck a response from Drake. What you willing to risk? What you willing to give? What if you were in Gaza? What if those were your kids? If the West was pretending that you didn't exist, you want the world to stand up, and the students finally did. Let's get it.
Honest question, genuine question. Why don't leftists care about masking? Why aren't supposed radical, socially conscious people, why aren't they masking? Like, we're in a full-on pandemic raging, disabling hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions. We care about liberation, but not for the disabled. I genuinely do not understand the dissonance. We claim to care about communal safety, but like, not about community when it comes to a virus that's spreading and acts like HIV in a lot of ways. COVID, it's a damaging virus. It's truly a damaging virus. And the denial and the passivity of leftist people in masking, I can't grasp it, man. Our government has lied to us about everything, but they haven't withheld things about COVID. Like, COVID's the thing that we can trust them on. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. I just don't get it.